Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. We're so glad you can be joining us today, and it is a very momentous occasion. It is the 80th
Man is old.
birthday for one Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, Batman, the Batman himself. He turns 80 years old just yesterday, so we're all celebrating. I got my Batman 66 t-shirt on. I got my favorite Batman lanyard.
Dude, they can't even see your shirt.
I got Ben Affleck on my lanyard here. Thank you, Celebrity Fan Fest, for that. Batman. Joining me on this fantastic Happy Birthday Batman episode are my two fellow Geekcasters. First we got the man, the myth, the legend, JC.
Hey, everybody.
And the guy that only wants to be Robin so he can wear the green tights. It's Rob. He's just happy that he can see himself on the screen in front of us. So
If
he's
you're listening
gonna
on
be
the
doing
audio,
that.
you don't want to know what Rob did.
Oh, no, not
No.
at all. But like we stated, we're so glad you could be joining us today. It's going to be a wonderful episode. We got plenty of Batman-related things to talk about. So we're going to get into some big DC Universe news that dropped earlier this week. We are going to talk about our favorite animated Batman film, our favorite live-action film that includes Batman. And then you may or may not have heard of a guy named Zack Snyder that said some recent comments about Batman being somewhat aggressive and, let's say, killing a few folks in Batman v Superman film that came out 3 years ago. He's still getting heat for that. That's back in the news, so we're going to discuss that as a group.
Okay. You know.
But first,
That's how you sit down, people. But first.
we had a little bit of a March Madness event. Oh, what are you doing? We had a little bit of a March Madness event going on, and we called it, what was it, Rob?
Dude, should I do it?
Yes, you should.
'Cause I'm still a little hurt.
This is like the last time you're going to do it.
Yep. Well, today anyway. There might be a few times. Here we go. Clear your throat.
No, I want to wait. I'm not going to do it now.
We had
I'm still recovering from the result.
We had a March Madness event.
It's over, bro.
That was called
There's no instant replay.
The ultimate tournament of whatever.
Madness.
Stuff.
Tut ovum, people.
Tut Ovum has ended, and it was a tremendous event. We had, I don't know, maybe close to 1,000 votes probably by the end of all
I lost
this.
count.
And it was a very good final. I don't know if we expected sort of that big of a result, but in our last matchup, the championship matchup, we had the animated series of the Batman animated series Joker go head-to-head with Masters of the Universe villain Skeletor, and wouldn't you know it, Joker won with 66% of the vote. Thank you to everyone who voted. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for participating. This is going to be a great event. I'm already planning next year's. Haven't told these guys about what I'm going to do yet, but
Heroes?
no, that's
Fantasies?
too obvious.
Oh, that's a comic show.
Possibly. We'll see what happens. But
Video
again,
games?
Joker won. I think it was probably an obvious choice in the beginning, but
No, it wasn't.
I know you didn't think so.
That was a
No.
favorite.
It was a
Look,
fan favorite.
I am not denying the fact that he is, completely insane and capable of anything.
And badass.
But come on,
What?
Frieza, dude?
Yeah,
like,
but he lost, bro.
I'm sorry, bro.
yeah, I know that, but that's because people aren't aware of what Frieza can do, especially in his gold form.
Okay.
Move on.
And
Next
still lost.
topic.
Shout out to Ty Shelton, who he was going for Skeletor this entire time, and he said his head was going to explode if Skeletor didn't win. Ty, I hope
Ty.
your head is still in one piece,
We
Ty.
hope you're there. Get the help you need, my man.
I'm so sorry, Ty.
It's all good.
It's all good, Ty. We'll do it again some other time, and we'll see what happens the next time
Yeah.
around.
Well, that was a
Most
very,
people didn't think Skeletor was going to make it that far.
It was
let's
a
be
very
honest.
sad conclusion. to the March. Oh, I messed it
No.
Oh,
up.
come on.
It was. I was under
Womp
pressure.
womp.
Take 2.
Cut over 'em. Yeah, I need to write this down for you.
The ultimate tournament of villain madness.
Dun, dun, dun. Again, thanks to all the listeners, thanks to all the audience members, to all of our followers on all of social media, all like 30,000 plus of you guys that are out there. You made this a great event. We're going to do it every year. It's going to get more interesting and a lot more unique. I think this was a great first event.
It was a lot of fun.
Sure.
Cartoon villains, even
Yep.
though Frieza didn't win.
Yeah.
And I think
there.
under better circumstances, if he was on the other side of the bracket, would he have beaten Skeletor?
Yes.
Yeah, he would have been
You think
Skeletor.
so?
Yes.
Well, he didn't beat Joker.
Hey, he didn't,
You never
man.
know.
That-
Don't
okay, but that-
don't blame the
Those
bracket.
Those votes were
No.
made by complete bias.
Gotcha.
Don't blame the bracket. Michigan State. Some people complain because they're in the same bracket as Duke. They beat Duke. They're in the Final Four. Duke's not in the Final Four. All right. So don't complain about the bracket.
There you go.
You play who's in front of you. If you're that good, you would have beat them.
Boom.
Say it.
That's what it is. That's what it's
it
all
is,
about.
Yeah. So
All right. We're gonna get into some big Batman news. If you haven't been paying attention, there's a new Batman film that's in development. This guy hasn't noticed.
Nope.
It's going to be called, or at least for now, it's going to be called The Batman. We don't know exactly what else, but it's going to be
Working title.
directed by Matt.
Oh, introducing Rob.
There you go.
Yep.
It's going to be directed by Matt Reeves. We already know Ben Affleck isn't going to be Bruce in this film. They expect to
Any
cast a
relation
much
to Keanu
younger
Reeves?
guy. Yes, they're cousins through third marriage.
Through the
twice
Matrix.
or 3 times removed. We're not sure.
Matt is his brother's cousin's sister's former roommate. So
So what does that make them?
absolutely nothing.
Any relation?
You
to
know, Rob doesn't know that reference.
what?
Have you not seen Spaceballs?
Yeah, I just like maybe once.
It's been a
in my
long
whole
time.
lifetime.
Oh my god.
It's okay. It's okay. Not everybody can
It's
watch
a
everything.
classic. It's like that. And
And
Three
you know
Amigos.
what? And you know what? For the record,
Yeah.
and Jericho, whenever he
I probably
comes
said that
back,
wrong
he
too,
can
though.
attest to
You said
this.
it right.
I am terrible with movie references
And
Oh.
actors' names
and actors' names.
So in
Unless-
general,
yeah, I mean, unless
and directors and writers
Yeah.
and
it's hard to remember those.
and
I can
video
understand that.
game titles and
no, I know video game titles.
Okay.
All right, all good.
I think.
All right, back to the story.
That's our next geek is a writer, whatever trivia game you want to play.
Yeah.
And so, new Batman news. Matt Reeves, director for the Batman film, is coming next year, I think, is what they said.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's August next year. I have to check on that. He posted a happy 80th anniversary to Batman. It has a beautiful cover of the first appearance of The Dark Knight.
Picture's gonna be right here, I'm assuming. So right here, yeah.
It has a great cover of The Dark Knight and the first appearance of Detective Comics issue 27. And wouldn't you know it, off to the side there's a very blurry picture of what appears to be a Batman symbol. So fans are all speculating because, I mean, there's a very good chance it's just an accident.
Things that make you go.
But this,
We need the Raptor.
there he is. And this could be a cheese of the new symbol, which looks a lot like the Adam West Batman 66 logo.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Do you think this is an accident or do you think this is intentional, Rob?
I think it's intentional, but
Or they're just
but,
trolling us.
But yeah,
Intentional
it's just yes, that's what I was trying to say. JC, you have my permission to speak for me.
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry. I
message.
didn't mean to step on you like that.
No, it's good, but yeah, no, I agree. I think that was intentional trolling.
I think so as well. I think this is probably a great little cheese, and I like it.
I think
I like-
I think it'll be that simple. Just they'll just play with it a little
They
bit.
did a great job blurring it on Photoshop, I could tell. So if anyone's got Photoshop to reverse engineer what it might look like, I'm not that good. So
All right, so new symbol. Go check it out on our Facebook page, on our timeline. There's a great photo. It has Matt Reeves' name on the top, and it looks a lot like the Batman 66. The wings are sort of sprawled out,
Yep.
and That could be the actual
Kind
symbol.
of like this one.
Going forward.
Yeah.
No, well, his is more like umbrella type.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
it fans out more.
It fans out.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
is this straight? Is it good?
It's good right there.
Boom. All right. And
Recovery
so,
show people.
It's a little too big for your chest. It'll fit mine perfectly.
it fits my shoulders. It goes all the way across.
Nailed it.
Hey, look, you're actually wearing the symbol right here.
I'm
Yeah,
wearing
yeah.
the 66 symbol.
But
All
you
right,
can't
there
see
you
it
go.
because this
Yeah,
is
that's
in the
all
way.
My bad. I like this though.
If you're listening on the audio version, you can't hear. You can't see anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. Use your imagination.
Yep.
I pointed to his chest.
We have some DC Universe news as well. Rob still doesn't have the DC Universe. Isn't that right, Rob?
What? No, I don't.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
DC, do you want to give it to me? As I'll
That's a
sponsor it.
no.
I'll promote it every single episode.
I'm sure they're working on it.
Yeah. You're on a really, really, really long wait list.
Yeah, probably. It's okay.
So in case you missed it, WonderCon was going on this weekend in Anaheim, California, and DC Universe went all out. They dropped a whole lot of new info for us. This is everything they dropped. The second season of Titans will premiere this fall. That's going to be exciting because we already know Superboy is going to be on it. Deathstroke and Fam are also going to be on it. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We have a brand new promo photo for Stargirl that got released. No one cares. Do you care about this one? Swamp Thing will premiere May 31st.
Only if Batman's gonna be involved.
Oh my God, this guy. All right, so Swamp Thing's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be great. It's also being produced by James Wan, I believe so. And the second half of Young Justice Outsiders, the amazing Young Justice Outsiders animated series, will premiere on July 2nd. So we're not too far away. Thought it was going to be June, but they moved it back a little bit, so it's going to be on July 2nd.
That's an interesting date because that's a Tuesday.
That
Most
is a
of the
weird
time
date.
they've done it on a Friday, but Friday that week is July 5th, so I guess they're trying to get a jump on the July 4th weekend. Are they going to do? Who knows if they're going to do the 2nd and the 5th? What are they? I don't know.
That could
That's
be it.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're moving to Tuesdays. Who knows?
Any thoughts on Swamp Thing? You're gonna watch it?
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, I've never followed it as much. I've never been. I mean, I don't know too much about it, but I'm intrigued. So, I mean, I'm paying for the DC service, so I kind of want to watch whatever they have on there and see what jumps out. So, I am interested in it.
We're gonna get to our favorite Batman animated film a little later on, but if you're following with the sort of animated series timeline, Justice League versus the Fatal Five, the next film in the animated series timeline, drops April 14th. Rob, you gonna watch that one?
What was it called?
No.
When you said animated series, I was like, oh, I know what.
How
it
about
is.
this?
I gotta find the title.
I know you're gonna watch this. The animated movie for Batman Hush will be out this summer. You're watching that one.
Sounds interesting. Yeah.
Well, because you have the comic, don't you? The graphic
Hush?
novel.
No.
You don't?
Mm.
But you've read it.
No.
I'm thinking of somebody else then. I thought it was
Yeah.
you.
It must be.
All right, so Batman Hush should be out this summer. Justice League versus the Fatal Five.
I'm intrigued with all the new films. Is this along the new?
Doesn't
Following the new 52, like the Return of Superman.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it is following along.
It really should.
Reign of the Superman. This is the next film in that.
This is the next one.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. All those films I'm enjoying. Just that whole. I mean, I've loved the DC service because I'm able to watch all those movies that I missed, and I'm really loving that whole arc.
Gotcha.
So,
And how much is it a month?
10?
$7.99 a
$7.99.
month, or it's $75 if you pay the full year up front.
Yep.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's worth it.
You can share.
It's worth it. What a dick. It's worth it.
In case you missed it, this month in April, the DC Universe is releasing 20,000 new comics
Wow.
on the
Yes.
service.
Smallville. Please give me Smallville season 11. That's all I want.
So if you can't
You never
read,
saw that?
Season 11 is the comic series that finished after the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it went after season. So season 11 is him as Superman.
now he's gonna get it.
Yes.
Now he's about
If
to
they
get
put
it.
those on DC
Boom.
service, I'm like, yes, because I need to finish reading those. I started it and I was like, oh, I need to get through it.
Interesting.
They actually bring Batman out into that, so you might be intrigued by that. Batman shows up in Smallville season 11.
What?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. I'm not a fan of Superman. But
You
I
just
love
said if it
Smallville.
involves Batman, you'd be interested. He's telling you Batman's in Smallville.
But you say you love Smallville.
So can I have your password? And
No.
account info?
I'll give you Jericho's.
Yes.
I thought Jericho bootlegged everybody else.
That'll
Did
work.
he really?
I don't know.
He bootlegged my WWE network for a long time.
That's what I was bringing up.
He's not here to defend himself.
And then one time I got pissed.
I'm not calling you out this time, Jericho.
And then I got pissed because I don't think I have undiagnosed OCD, and so
I can confirm that.
So
if it's
so whenever I
undiagnosed,
see like
don't
on
know.
Netflix or Hulu or the WWE network, whenever I see a show that's partially watched, it drives me insane. So I have to like sit there and finish it or fast forward it so it's completed. And so there's been times where like I get home and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna watch whatever WWE special they have going on Sunday, and I get on and it's like, I don't know, 3/4 watch. I'm like, mother trucker,
Mother of God.
like, okay, dude, you got my account info. That's cool, bro. You want to watch it? That's cool, bro. Let me know. Like, hey, do you mind if I watch this on your account?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like all upset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys are sharing everything.
You know what? I mean, that's something that it's definitely OCD.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
That's
Or
OCD.
or
Yeah,
So it's
dude,
technically
'cause
not really
'cause I kid you not-
undiagnosed,
'cause I kid
borderline-
you not-
self-diagnosed.
'cause
Borderline anger management.
Promise
Yeah.
I promise you, whenever Allie and I have a show we're gonna watch, and we have our own individual accounts, and then we have like a little family account that, you know, if we both want to watch something, we'll put it in there. But if it's a show I started,
this is already too much for me.
but if it's
Okay.
something I already started and then we move it
That's
to
3
the
accounts.
family show, then if we're getting ready to watch like the 4th episode, but we have the family account, I'm like, can we watch it on my account? Because then I want to have these unwatched shows.
This has been an episode of A Day in the Life of Rob.
We're gonna give Dr. Phil a call.
Yeah, so speak of that, so Allie and I are going to probably start a new podcast on our day in the life of us.
Interesting.
No, I don't
Life
know.
of Robin.
I threw the idea out there. She was like, maybe
And what
That
are y'all
means
gonna
no.
what are y'all gonna talk about?
our life.
I know, but like just
Boring.
like general things y'all do every day.
Nah, yeah, it's gonna kind of have like a Seinfeld vibe.
Okay,
Show about
we
nothing.
invite you out a lot, and you guys never come out. So what are y'all gonna talk about? Being at
don't,
home?
Don't worry about it.
They're going to be talking about how do we save money to pay for a
You've
wedding.
seen Seinfeld, right?
Yes.
Okay, so think of that. It's that kind of premise,
Gotcha.
So you're ripping off Seinfeld. So basically what you're saying.
dude. I
Just the
love
music.
Seinfeld. Dude, that bassist was the shit.
Slapping the
Right?
bass.
I don't know how we got from
I don't know.
Batman to Seinfeld
I don't
in
know.
this episode,
Oh
but
man,
What was the deal? Let's get back to Batman. Seinfeld was a big Superman fan, by the way. So
he was.
yes.
I noticed, and he has on Netflix. He has a special, and like a lot of it's about Superman. He already has Superman stuff in the back.
gotcha.
Anyways, let's get back on track, guys. Y'all are
Gee, how do we get off track? I wonder who.
Message us if you want Rob to stay on track. Titans again, like I stated, will be out this fall. The Harley Quinn animated series, which I'm still on the fence about.
I'm still going to see it. Kaylee Cuoco's awesome.
Yeah, but she's no
Tara Strong.
Tara Strong.
Tara Strong's busy doing Raven on Teen Titans Go.
Really. And then Stargirl will be out in 2020. So that's the news there. All right, so that's the DC Universe news. Get the DC Universe because me and this guy want to keep watching Titans every year, and we want to keep watching Young Justice.
Yes.
And look, if
And
you,
all the movies and comics I want to read.
Rob, can you read $7.99 worth of comics on the app if you had it every month?
In a day.
No, because I prefer to read like an actual thing I can
Jesus
hold in my
Christ.
hand, like a
Okay,
book.
if you're not Rob and you're not OCD with your episodes that go unwatched on your streaming services, then you'll be fine.
Yes.
Go grab the DC Universe app. Go watch the Aquaman TV show pilot episode that never got aired.
And if you are like me and that does bother you, stuff like that, go to our Facebook page and message us. let us know that I'm not alone.
Rob's looking for
Please.
friends, people. That's basically
Please.
what it is.
Rob's going to start a help group with people that suffer from
Undiagnosed OCD.
people that suffer from unfinished streaming episodes.
Oh,
So
I think that
God.
runs in the family because my brother is somewhat like that too.
really,
Yeah.
This is a weird thing with you guys because
Yeah.
I'm fine with that because you do understand. Like,
I'm not related to these guys. So
You
just
can
throwing that
just
out there right now.
play the episode from where it's at and
Yeah.
finish it.
I mean, I could, but what bothers me is if
I think we're going
Someone
down the
else has
rabbit hole
watched
here.
it, then he has to pick up where someone else left off. That's
yeah,
it.
kind of like that.
Okay.
But even like okay, so I have at work I can watch.
I don't know if we
something
should go down
sometimes.
this rabbit hole anymore.
I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, y'all open the door.
Damn it!
I don't even know if this shit's gonna be
Y'all
in the
open
episode.
the
Might
door
get
and I put
edited
my
out.
foot right there before it closed.
And
Yeah.
cut.
Cut. All right.
I'm just kidding. And we're back. And that was the DC Universe news. let's talk about some Batman stuff.
All right.
There's
Okay.
arguably Batman is the most popular non-fiction character in all of media and literature. I consider comic books literature, and so there's a lot of. He's had so much content over the last 80 years. 80 years, 20 away from 100.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk about a couple of things. We are going to talk about which of the animated films with Batman is our favorite, and also which of the live-action films is our favorite. So we also will pose the question to you out there, the viewers. Let us know what your favorite animated Batman film is, or that involves Batman. All the Justice League ones included. And then let us know what your favorite live-action film is. Doesn't have to be only Batman. It could be the Justice League. It could be anything that has the actual character in it. So live-action, animated film. Let us know what your answer is in the comments. We'll read the best ones, or we'll read all of them, as many as we can get to.
Yep.
And then we want to hear from you guys. So, JC, you probably have this figured out quicker than Rob has.
No, I got it.
Really?
got it?
Because you were
Yes.
looking up animated film before
Yeah,
we started.
well, I was trying to remember the title of the last one I saw.
Okay,
So we
so-
started with animated first, and then we'll do
Starting with animated, and then
Start
we'll
with
do
animated.
live action later. So, Rob, what's
Yeah.
your favorite animated one?
So I don't want to say it's my favorite because it's the last one I've seen, but I think it's
Okay.
my favorite because of the context it is. It's actually Justice League,
Okay.
but it's Justice League Dark.
Oh.
So it's Batman, it's Constantine, and Zatanna.
Yep.
So Superman, all them whack heroes, they're not in it.
Okay,
Watch
so
your
this is
damn mouth.
not your favorite animated Batman film.
What's my non? What?
No, I said so. This
Oh yes.
Dark is not
Uh-huh.
your favorite.
No, it is my favorite to date.
Weird.
Because of how
Missing a lot, apparently.
dark it was.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
It's in the
and
title.
no pun to the title.
Yeah.
But it starts out so demonic and like this
Yeah.
lady
It's
trying
really
to
dark.
commit suicide, and I was just like, holy crap! Like this movie has taken a whole other step. And then granted, I know the movies have a bit of a darker edge than TV shows do.
Right.
But compared to the ones I've seen in the past, to me, this one felt like it was like it had demonic possession, contact in it that threw me off. I was like, holy shit! Like this is insane. So yeah, I think that's why I like it. It's like it's obviously animated, but it's like so close to what they can do with a non-animated film.
Which you haven't seen it, right?
I haven't seen it yet. It's on the DC service. I need to watch it. Which,
so
by the way, all those
it's-
films you're missing are on the DC service.
They are all on the DC Universe app.
Yes.
And you, sir, what is
Me,
your favorite animated
it's
film?
actually Son of Batman.
All right, good choice. Good choice.
It was the first. I mean, Batman was out of his element. He's having to deal with a kid who's got a freaking horrible attitude. As far as he's just a complete a-hole. And it really introduced Damian taking over as Robin. You got a bit of Nightwing in there trying to work with him as well. And it was kind of that transition for Batman. Second Batman, Jason Todd, right? Yes.
right.
He had died, obviously.
Right.
He finds out he has a son from Talia al Ghul, and now he's having to raise his son in Gotham, teach him how to use everything. And then
Damien, yeah.
Damien, of course, breaks into the Batcave and just tries to take up the Robin moniker for himself. So that was different for me because it really took Batman out of his element than what you're used to seeing him as this badass, this detective and everything. Now he's basically got to be a family man. And it was kind of cool to see that side of him. And then they even reference it in, I want to say it's in Young Justice where he says like Damien has like a PTA meeting or something like that. And they give Batman a hard time at a Young Justice outside. I think it was the first episode of Young Justice season 3. So, but Son of Batman definitely.
I mean, that kid needed some discipline.
He did, but man, he.
I saw him in So I watched the Teen Titans movie that they put out.
Justice League
Go to
versus
the
the Teen
movies?
Titans.
No, it wasn't versus. It was
The
just,
ones in the theater.
No.
Oh,
It was-
the Japan one, the last
Uh,
movie, the original series show,
no, not
right?
even Japan, dude. It's.
No, it's
Man, what is wrong with you guys?
Showdown in Tokyo. I feel like
Y'all
that.
don't know what's up. No, it's not Tokyo Drift.
I didn't say
Oh,
It's
Tokyo.
Teen Titans:
versus
The Judas Contract.
The Judas.
Oh, the
Contract.
Judas Contract. Yeah,
He-
I'm thinking
Damien
of something
was-
else.
We're thinking
Damien
of
was-
Go.
Yeah, Damien was a bit of an asshole in there too.
Which he always is, but it's such a great character.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yes.
it's
And that movie set up Batman versus Robin. You know, they had that as well too.
I mean, I guess the character's written that way to kind of relate to dysfunctional teenagers, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was raised differently. He was raised with the League of
Yeah.
Shadows, so he had a different attitude on it.
he's raised as an assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're
So,
gonna be
so he's already.
you're gonna be a badass.
Yeah, he's already.
You would think you'd be more
separated from
disciplined though.
emotion.
yeah. That's true.
If you were trained as an infant to be an assassin, then you would think you'd have a little bit more discipline. But he's a hothead. He's a rebel.
Yeah.
And that's why we love him though.
Yep.
Damien. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine's a little bit of a cop out because I have two favorites that I can't decide between.
No, you gotta pick one.
Gotta pick one.
Nope.
All right, so
I.
Flip a coin,
I
people.
will say my favorite, and then I'll tell you the other one I'm
Nope,
thinking
I got
about.
an
Okay.
idea. Nope, I got an idea.
Oh crud!
What?
All right, if you really can't decide between the two, you can call them both out, and then we'll flip a coin. As we
Done.
record.
Unless you have decided now in these few seconds that you do have a favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my favorite, for sure, my favorite it's like 1 and 1A.
Okay.
My favorite is
There's
under
no
Under the
there's
Red
no
Hood.
1 and 1A.
fine 1 and 2.
No, there's no 1 and 2.
Fine,
you just
it's
said
1
this is
and
my
1.5.
favorite one.
Okay. Just,
All right,
just jump
My
it out.
favorite animated film is Batman Under the Red Hood.
This is frustrating.
Okay.
Only because the death of Jason Todd, Death in the Family, is like my favorite Batman story.
Wasn't that insane?
It's which yes, it is insane.
That's why I like it.
That's why I like it so much.
It's crazy.
I like it because it's like one of the first times, if you're following, sort of the main core Batman story, it's the first time that he loses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's always
Yeah.
won. He did a great job raising and training Dick Grayson, who later becomes Nightwing. But with Jason, he lost. The bad guy wins.
Yep.
And you buy into it because like Batman's speeding to get there. Like he is trying every way
Yeah.
to get there as fast as he can.
They
and
did a
it's-
great job with that film. There's just so much drama and so much emotion in it, and the ending is so damn dramatic. The only thing I didn't like as much is the way they styled the Joker in that one was a little off. He had like longer hair or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that aside, Under the Red Hood, so much emotion. It's a great sort of mystery because you have this character that comes out of nowhere, and Nightwing's all like, "Look at that move he did. That's trained. That he figured that out from somebody." And it's it's a Batman move when he's like hitting the batarang with his one move, his one blade. So great story. If you haven't seen it, go check it out because it's a classic and you're gonna love it. Has a great ending, and it's tremendous. I was gonna say my other one I was considering, only because it's such an epic tale. It's a two-parter because it's so damn long. Is The Dark Knight Returns?
Parts 1 and 2.
Yeah, parts 1 and 2.
Yep.
There's actually
That was pretty
a
hardcore.
full version that you can go out there and get, which is a little bit of a messed up thing DC did because they sold part 1 and part 2, and then like a few months down the road, they're like, "Oh, we'll sell you another one that's all combined into one long movie." I'm like, "Oh, come on."
Kill Bill did it too.
Messed up.
So, anyways, Dark Knight Returns is another fantastic tale, and it's great because it's sort of Bruce at the end of his story.
Like 50 years old or something, right?
No, he's like
60?
probably in his late 60s.
Yep.
I
Years
mean,
old. And
yeah.
real bulky, right? Real monster like size.
he is a monster, and it's sort of his final mission, his final,
Last hurrah.
yeah. He gives it everything he has, and it's a story in which he shouldn't come out on top. And then in part 2, it puts him up against the Man of Steel, and you think he has no way
chance.
of making this out, no chance at all against Superman. And I'm not gonna spoil it. Hopefully you know the story, but if you haven't, pick up the graphic novel, or you can go
Watch the movie.
check out the movie, the animated film. It's just fantastic, and I love the way it ends. So, such a classic twist at the ending. That is our animated movie choices. Now we go to live action film. A little bit harder, I think.
Not for me.
Really? All
No,
right.
I
So
already
let's
know.
start with you. What's your favorite live action animated film with Batman in it?
Easily The Dark Knight. That movie just had everything. It had arguably we're talking about Joker winning Ted over, the best version of the Joker I've ever seen to this day. I don't think anybody will ever top Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Yeah.
And you see Batman riding on high. He thinks he has everything under control, and then he meets somebody that just has no agenda, who just, quote the movie, just wants to watch the world burn. And this is a film where Batman loses. He loses everything. He loses Rachel. He loses Harvey Dent. You know, we expected to just let Gotham. This guy was going to lead Gotham, and the Joker took him over and made him evil.
As Bruce put it, he let that psychopath burn Harvey half to hell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Heath Ledger was a perfect Joker. He was just completely psychotic. He was fighting everybody. He just didn't really have a way. He just wanted to fight Batman. He says, "You won't let me go. I think we're destined to do this forever." And it was just, this just had everything. It just broke Batman, and you saw that in the next film, The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
he's still a broken man, and you don't know if he ever fully recovers. So
Yeah.
Dark Knight for me was definitely number one.
the Nolan verse, I love it, but I also hate it because it's so damn good, and yet it's only a 3-part story.
And that's all you need.
Well,
That's all you need.
In-
But they left you wanting
Nolan's-
more. For
They left you wanting more.
Yeah,
but that's the
they-
great thing.
that's
You know?
why I hate it, because I do want more, but there is no more. And if you think
I
about
know.
it, somebody
Nolan's so good at those.
wrote articles or did a analysis of exactly how long Batman was actually Batman in Nolanverse, and it wasn't that long.
Really?
He started in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
I'd say about a
in his
year.
20s, right?
Yeah, and so about a year or so had passed. You know, he's still fighting against Scarecrow in the beginning
Scarecrow.
of The Dark Knight.
Right.
And then at the end of The Dark Knight, he's done. And then, 8 years, I think, go by?
I believe so.
And then he puts on the cape and cowl for like another 6-8 months.
Gets his back broken.
But
and then that's
what
it.
did they base this estimation time frame on?
Because
Because when
Analysis.
when the Dark Knight starts,
right,
the whole city is afraid of Batman,
exactly.
which means he had
Yes.
to have been doing work,
right.
for
putting
years.
in work for years.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know if it's years because Scarecrow is still out on the run, and he wouldn't let Scarecrow go for that long.
Yeah, but look how quickly Batman caught him.
And I think the mayor's still the same. Again, they've done
The mayor-
analysis
the,
on
the
this.
mayor is the same. You're right, but what's the time frame on a mayor? 8 years?
Depends on the city, but usually it's like 2 years, 4 years. Just
4
depends.
years?
So-
4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so based off of that.
So
then-
Rob's gonna do his own analysis where he's going.
Rob,
to
we need you to make a
Well,
timeline. The
it's-
same thing you tried to give Jericho.
So it's kind
you
of
need
hard.
like a PowerPoint. Cite your sources right along here.
Boom.
I'll have it starting from 2000. What 2002 was the
I don't know. You got to research.
Sure.
it.
Batman Begins.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. I
I
like.
think you and the wife can do this.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe,
Yeah,
the
this would be
Nolan
part.
verse is just.
This would be part of your podcast.
maybe not.
It's the new. Wow.
That'll be the episode.
Nailed it.
Creating the timeline.
Creating the Nolanverse timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1. That's tremendous.
right? That'd be a
That's
big episode.
tremendous. All right,
You said
be
it though. That
huge.
Nolan trilogy was just.
it's so great.
It's such a new level for Batman films. Everything's going to be judged on that trilogy. When we think about it.
and which is also unfair because that trilogy doesn't stick too much to the core material, but nobody cared.
Nobody cared. It doesn't matter.
That was the last time
Okay.
comic book movies got a pass.
Here's the thing.
Right.
I know everyone wants it to be exactly the way it was in the comics.
Yes and no.
Okay, fine. There is a comic version, there is a movie version, there is a TV version.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same crap with Harry Potter. There's the book version, there's the movie version. They can't bring everything over. It's going to be different on some level.
Yeah.
Same with the MCU films.
Yeah.
You
But I had
it's
a-
just natural.
I had some conversations with people on social media like I shouldn't be doing, but I do it anyways.
Gotcha.
And I tell people that the only two characters that ever get judged this harshly are Batman and Superman.
Because they're the longest running, basically. That's just the way it is.
If you look at
And
Guardians,
Wonder Woman doesn't have enough films to really judge her on that yet.
true, and
So-
if you go look at Guardians of the Galaxy, the movies are nothing like the comics. Peter Quill isn't as funny. Rocket Raccoon isn't that comedic.
Well, no, but that's also Disney for you.
Drax is actually more violent
Yeah.
in the comics. So yes, it is Disney, but you don't hear people complaining. But Batman,
Because they're entertained.
but Batman can't do anything out of character,
yeah. No, he can't because
He's
he's
not
known to be
allowed.
very stoic, very
which
dark.
we're gonna talk about later, by the way. So it's coming up.
Which the only added character Batman by that humorous effect was Adam West.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Rob, give us your favorite live action film.
Favorite one is Batman.
89.
Tim Burton.
Yeah, 89. Tim
Yeah.
Burton.
Very good. Very nice.
Yep.
It's-
I think
it's hard to argue against that.
I mean, okay, so I was born in '87, so I'm pretty sure that was the first Batman film I saw.
Yeah.
First
as a
one for me
child.
too. Yeah.
So
Same.
I think that's probably where I fell in love with the character. So I gotta go with that. I love the Nolan films,
Sure.
Yeah.
but
Who doesn't?
from a complete nostalgic and just pure love for the character, it starts there. So that's that's always been my favorite.
It should be the model for the best balance between bringing Batman to life and also sticking to the core material, which is the comics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if anybody needed a baseline for all right, how should I be Batman? They should look at Michael Keaton
Yep.
Batman.
Which let's think about this. We all love the Nolan movies.
Mm-hmm.
We love '89. And what do those Batmans have in common? Let me tell you, they're not that interesting. The Batman, the Batmen, Keaton,
Let's humor him
Keaton-
for a second.
Keaton and Bale, they're not. I mean, Bale's probably more outgoing and interesting than Keaton was.
You see more into what Bruce is as Bale than you would under
Yeah,
Keaton.
Well,
this is
You
true.
get into his
He
personal
did.
life more. But yeah, go
True,
ahead.
true or false? Keaton is bland as hell because that's how Bruce is in the comics. He's
Yeah.
stoic, he's quiet. Bale, they tried to go this like playboy millionaire sort of like wrecking hotel fountain thing, and I never really bought into that because that's not really what Bruce would do. It would be more low key, but
Well, do you think it's possible because of so I think I remember seeing an interview about Keaton, or maybe I read it. When they asked him to be Batman, he didn't know
yeah,
anything about Batman.
sure.
Which is good because you can give your own interpretation.
Which I like it.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, could that be why it was so dry? It's because
Well-
he didn't have influences how someone today may have.
Hang on, here's my point with all this is the '89 is your favorite, the Dark Knight is your favorite.
Yes.
They both have the same thing. Our protagonist is sort of more bland and low key, but they have the best outgoing, charismatic villains
Yes.
we've seen in all the Batman films.
And arguably Nicholson stole that movie, the very first one. A lot of people said it was like more of a Joker movie because he had more screen time than Batman did. If you
I
think
think
about
that's unfortunately that's the only formula you have in a
yeah.
Batman.
Although
but I
Keaton was
think
like,
they
"You want to
had-
get nuts?"
But I think they had to
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Batman is he's in the shadows character. You
You're
know what
right.
I mean?
You're right.
That's the way Burton wrote the film.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think they wanted to show Batman too much. They just keep him in the back, keep him in the dark.
Yeah.
Let's bring out the Joker, who's all colorful and crazy.
And that's the good thing, but also the bad thing with these fans. And I probably am one of them as well. But if these fans keep, well, I don't complain as much as they do. If the fans keep complaining about Batman's doing this or Batman makes a joke, we heard those complaints.
Yes.
Batman's making too many jokes in Justice League.
Oh, come on.
Then what you're asking for is Keaton over and over and over again.
It's not going to be
But
that
the
way.
only way to make a film good is by balancing that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to use blandness because I can't think of anything else right now.
What do you
With a very great, entertaining villain.
What do you think? What's your opinion on the animated series with Kevin Conroy's voiceover?
Again,
Similar, right?
Kevin's the perfect Batman. He's
Well,
not
that's my
doing
thing,
anything
but
like
and
out of.
that's my point. To
Yeah.
your point, what you were saying about the commonality between
Yes.
Keaton and Bale, he even has that sort
Precisely.
of dry, boring kind of tone.
Yeah, well, you think about it. The animated series is really based on the '89 film Batman. That's really where it got its inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Danny
but
Elfman
they,
scores
but
all
they
through
could
it.
have
Yeah.
easily made it different. They could
Sure.
have.
They could have,
you
yeah.
know.
They never stray too far with Bruce
No, they never did.
or the character Batman.
They didn't really get like I said before, into his personal life as much. You know, it was more about Batman the character, and not so much about Bruce Wayne.
All right, and I'm gonna be that guy.
That guy.
And I'm going to
Hashtag that
say
guy.
my favorite live action film. I'm going to choose this based on what I consider the sort of best depiction of the Dark Knight on screen, and that's going to be Batman v Superman. I can hear a lot of you stop this video and don't do that.
I'm not.
My opinion's my opinion.
I'm wearing the shirt, so
And we just lost Rob.
Rob just walked away.
And he's throwing his chair. He's destroying the set.
He's trying to hit Ted with this stool.
Here we go. Give me a second before
Scoot over
you
more, Rob.
start.
Scoot
I
over
can
more,
hear you
Rob.
typing. Give me a second.
This leads into our next thing here. By the
This
way.
will lead into it. But like I was just about to say, to my
Bob's pissed.
My opinion, the best
I'm
depiction.
disappointed. I'm not pissed
What's more upsetting, that he said that or that Frieza lost in the tournament?
that he said that.
Oh, poor
to
Frieza.
I can deal with Frieza losing.
Go ahead.
I'll
Go
get
ahead, Ted.
over that.
I'm sorry. Ted. Go ahead.
This is gonna require therapy.
You're opening the can of worms here.
I'm just having fun with it.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so
I wasn't a bad movie, in my honest opinion. Just put that out there.
I've always wanted to see a Batman that's getting sort of closer and closer to the comics. Wait! I can already hear you. Stop. Give me a second.
Yeah. Listen, people.
Already closer to the comics. That means in the suit, which the suit is the closest thing we've seen to the comics. No, Batman's not wearing head to toe tire rubber suit. On those
abs.
pages.
Tire rubber.
Val Kilmer ass cheeks.
That's what Keaton's suit was. It was all like thick rubber, and he hated that damn thing.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Anyways, the fight choreography in the Batman v Superman movie was the best.
Agreed.
The
guess so.
warehouse fight scene was like the intro to the animated series. I mean, come to life.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get to see a lot of Batman using his gadgets or him doing a lot of hand-to-hand combat.
We got it all in that scene, though.
But when we saw
Yeah.
that scene, it was Batman in a warehouse against 20 dudes with automatic weapons,
Yeah.
and he disarmed and took out
He
all
also
of them,
got shot in the head.
which was
Yeah.
fantastic. by
And if
the
you
way.
had any doubt that Affleck could have played Batman, that was your scene that kind of sold you on it.
There you go.
In a way.
Yeah,
you
when
know?
I saw that in the trailer, I was sold at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or even the part where Affleck's working out. It was like, damn, dude.
And listen, I'm one of those fans that will allow, and this is going to get into our next topic. So I'll save it then. I'm going to get it. I'm going to
No,
keep going
you
into
can
the
go
next
right into
topic
it because
because
I have a lot to say about this too.
we have to see this video first, and
Go
then
for
I'm
it.
going to also, give my 2 cents on it. So if you didn't hear, because it's been everywhere on social media, Zack Snyder held an event last weekend. He was screening his movies, director cuts of them. He screened Batman v Superman on Sunday. And there was a Q&A session afterwards. Someone in the audience had the balls to ask Zack,
Balls.
why do you have Batman killing people in Batman v Superman? And this is what he had to say.
When Chris Nolan and I were talking about Superman, when we were literally getting ready to make Superman, he said to me, he was like, Watchmen is the movie that makes Superman, possible in a cool way. But the interesting thing is, people talk about however I have influenced or whatever I've done with Superman and Batman and everything I've done up till now, and then people have criticized me for a lot of different aspects of the way I've interpreted those characters. But if you've seen this film, if you know that I made that movie, right, it's very difficult to then say, well, why would he do A or why would he do B? But if you've seen this movie, it's pretty obvious why. Once you know that whole thing about once you know the rules, you can break them? Right. This movie is yeah, that's the rules. You can't go backwards. It's very difficult to go backwards from this movie and go back to a point in time where, this movie is the end of innocence for superheroes, right? These superheroes are raping each other, for God's sake, right? Yeah. They're fucking murdering millions of people to create world peace. And someone says to me Batman killed a guy. I'm like, wake the fuck up, bitch. I guess that's that's what I'm saying about, like, you know, once you've like lost your virginity to this fucking movie, and then you come and say to me something about like, oh, my superhero wouldn't do that. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I'm like down the fucking road on that. You know what I mean? So, and it's a cool point. Look, I'm 100% fine with it. It's a cool point of view to be like, my heroes are still innocent, you know? My heroes didn't fucking, you know, lie to America. My heroes didn't, you know, embezzle money from their corp. My heroes didn't fucking commit any atrocities. I'm like, that's cool, but you're living in a fucking dream world. I guess, you know, so the cool thing is, like, so mythologically speaking, I'm 100% fine. And by the way, and I love more than anything, you know, Superman and Batman. But in, you know, in the same way that Alan Moore was fed up with the fucking, like, okay, no, you know, they do this. Clearly, this is a response to, like, where Watchmen talks about comic books in the same way that this movie talks about comic book movies, but it talked about comic books at their most, they were broken, you know? So he was just addressing that. The thing with comic book movies is, and I'm a fan. Like, I go and see them, and I love them. And I don't have a, you know, I go and see all the Avengers movies, and I go and I enjoy them, and I love it. It's not, that's, you don't have to not enjoy them, but you also have to be, like, open to other things as well. You can't just...
All right. Want me to start?
Get
Not really.
the
Hang on.
out of here.
Hang on, I got a rant ready to go. Go for it.
preach on, Zach, because I want to make sure I don't forget my point. So let's do this. There's a lot. There's a lot to analyze. There's a lot to take from that.
Okay. So.
I'm just gonna start with: did he come off the best with what he said?
No.
Probably not. Not whatsoever. There's probably a much better way to get his point across, because every social media, you know, media group, article just went with the sexy headline. Zack Snyder says, "Wake the F up, you're living in a dream world," you know?
Yeah.
That's what they all did. And I will make sure, and I'll come back to my point. I know you want to say something first, so go for it. Go for it.
Okay, here's my thing. I'm glad he said it the way he did.
Hey,
I didn't get the politically correct, oh, well, you know, this. No, okay. Let's first put it in the context of this universe. Robin's dead.
Keep watching, folks. Keep watching.
Robin is dead in this film. You think Batman would be pretty upset about that, probably be killing? Let's look back at Man of Steel. Superman killed in the end of that film. And I had people coming to me questioning about it. I'm the biggest Superman guy. Are you upset Superman killed Zod at the end? No. It was a life or death situation. Saving a human life there. Yeah. If I had the ability and it was that, I probably would have snapped Zod's neck too. If you're saying he killed because of what happened in the damn warehouse fight scene or anything else, he's got how many guys firing out of automatic weapons and flamethrowers and all this crap? Yeah, he's going to have to kill somebody. Let's face it. Batman's going to kill. It's a modern world. Sometimes it's kill or be killed in these situations. Policemen can't save everybody. Sometimes they have to kill people in self-defense.
Rob's
happens.
Set up.
Get over it, man. It's Zack Snyder's interpretation of it. The character's like that. You don't own the character. As much of a fan as you are, as much as you hate The Last Jedi, and a bunch of other people did, you don't own Star Wars.
No, but it's just a bad story.
Okay, well, let's see. We peaked there. Anyway, here's my thing. All these people complain about how movies come across and how this is wrong and that is wrong. Batman vs. Superman was horrible. Rob. Oh, Justice League was crap.
Right
Ryan from Alamo City Movie Talk. Be happy
Shots, Ryan.
that we are getting these films made. You talked about the 89 Batman film. When I was a kid, I was excited to see my superheroes on screen.
He killed all kinds of people in there.
Oh, see, yeah, well, Can you think about it? Yeah, he did.
He killed a bunch of
He
people.
did. Why was nobody complaining back then? Oh yeah, we didn't have social media.
No,
So my
in the
point is-
second film, in Batman Returns,
Yeah.
dude lit somebody up on fire with the thrusters
Yeah.
on
Sure
the
did.
thing. I was like, what?
In the Batman films that did not feature ass cheeks. That's basically what we're talking about. Look, here's my thing. We as kids wanted these films made. Yes, Christopher Reeve Superman films were great, but we could tell it was strings flying around. And when technology advanced and we finally got the idea that we could see Superman flying what looked realistic, we got Superman Returns. Bad example, but still, the point is the movie got made. These films are getting made. Be happy the Avengers films are out there. The Thor, I guess everyone shits on Thor Dark World. You know,
Jericho.
Jericho. Years ago when we were kids, we never would have seen these films made.
All right.
Now we're getting that. That's my thing. Stop complaining and bitching online. Be happy these films are getting made.
I'm gonna take a much more different stance. I mean,
That's
not
fine.
different. It's sort of in the
In my-
middle between you and Rob, because I think Rob's on the other side of this. So Rob, let's
That's
hear.
fine.
Let's hear from
That's
you
why
next.
you're sitting in the middle.
Let's hear from you next, Rob, and
I,
go easy on Zack Snyder, please.
So you look scared.
Zack Snyder, I love you. I would love to see
You've
you
never
make more
been
films.
this quiet. When you're quiet, that means you have a lot to say.
That's
Yeah.
when you should be scared.
That's when you should be
No,
scared.
okay, so
He clapped.
you're right. I was on the opposite
Clapping
side of
like
the
a ghetto
spectrum.
Yeah.
However, hearing his rant has brought me kind of closer to this.
the second time I've done that.
But here's why.
JC,
But here
spit
is
truth.
why. But here is why. But here is why.
Okay, go ahead.
Only because you make a very valid point of this is their interpretation of the character.
Yeah.
Yes.
I cannot hold that to anyone because you're right. That is their interpretation of the character. If I want a movie to be done the way I want it, then I should just
Make
make
it
the
yourself.
movie. Exactly. Exactly what you said. Quit bitching, quit complaining. Find the funds, get investors, whatever, and make the movie yourself.
Yeah.
So to that point, yeah, that's why I've lessened more towards the middle.
I'll interrupt you for a second. That thought, I think you mentioned it before. One of the writers or producers of the Batman '89 film, he didn't like the way the Adam West cartoon was growing up. He grew up and he made his own movie.
Producer.
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 Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, now Ted had a good point too. It's like, did was his answer the best? Fuck no. Like,
No,
dude,
no.
if I
Got
was
another F-bomb there.
like, that would have pissed me off if I was the one who asked him and that was his response to me. I would have been like, dude,
Oh, did the guy ask the question to troll him?
No.
You get a lot of those.
I
I
don't
think
know.
everybody is a fan of Zach there.
I mean,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, everybody's gonna have a problem about something.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, Ted hates The Last Jedi. I enjoy The Last Jedi.
Me too.
I have problems with it, but I enjoy it. So,
Bad editing.
I think he could have answered that completely differently. I think when
Ted's
he
going
answered
cinema
it,
sins over here. But go
Lazy
ahead.
writing.
I think when he answered it, he probably answered it. He's
probably sick of getting that question.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah, he's sick of getting that
that
question.
initial reaction of like this question again, like
Yeah.
God damn it.
Otra vez.
Yeah, so he was probably just really, really irritated with it.
3 years later, by the
Um,
way, that he's still getting asked this question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably where all his frustration is coming from. So yeah, I don't. Man, see now I'm like.
It's so good.
speechless.
He's all riled up and he's all
My
Yeah.
thoughts are all over the.
he's all
place.
sweating.
He's
here.
out of beer.
Okay, so I have some thoughts, and this is some stuff that I've conveyed online. So if you're one of the fortunate ones that have already heard this, then you don't have to listen. But not all of you have heard this, so
Just listen anyway.
listen anyways.
Just fast forward it.
I have more of a more thorough response than even JC.
Okay.
So we're gonna get into that. Not only is this Zack Snyder and here we go. Not only is this Zack Snyder,
Show off.
AJ Nightwing just walked in with
With the Spurs hat autographed by a whole bunch of people. Yeah,
the
yeah, you
entire
can show us
team.
later.
You met the entire team.
I'll put it on
We-
eBay. You make you a lot of
We
money.
understand.
Go ahead.
This film is written by a few folks, and I'm not gonna remember who else helped Zach with this, but it is, yes, their interpretation. And if you watch Batman v Superman and you pay attention to like the opening Act 1, let's just say the Act 1, what you said, Batman is actually upset from from the death of Robin. And I actually took
Yeah.
that a step further. I took the fall of Metropolis as the event that set him off. If you
Yeah,
haven't
That's
noticed,
another one. Yeah.
if you haven't noticed, Batman v Superman is not Bruce Wayne in the right frame of mind.
No.
He's over the edge. He has been on a 2-year, I've been calling it this, he's been on a 2-year revenge tour against Superman. He was at ground zero, and you see in the opening scene, you see his face, you see his building falling, and you know how probably engaged he is with all his employees and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, that affected him at his core, and for 2 years he's been hell bent on making Superman pay for it. He would probably make Zod pay for it too, but Zod's not around.
He blames Superman for it happening.
And before you say, like, where's the evidence? What are you talking about? It's there.
He saw it.
It's the whole city.
Alfred is telling Bruce all these things. He is Bruce's conscience. And Alfred's telling him throughout the entire first act of the film, like, oh, we're branding people now? You know, why are we acting like criminals? The rage, I've seen it. The feeling of what's overwhelming, like, power. What is it? The feeling of overwhelmingness that consumes men and sets them off.
Yeah.
Bruce is not in the right frame of mind. If you were saying to yourself, why does Batman kill in BVS? He wouldn't do that. You're on the side of Alfred. Alfred is with you on that. Alfred is not okay with the aggressive manner that Batman has been dealing with criminals for 2 whole years. That's just the span between the Man of Steel film, and BVS. So you're right. It's not okay.
Superman has an issue with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman has an issue with it. Alfred has an issue with it. That's the story arc. That is the point of BVS. I mean, I'm going to say this to you, and if this is your first time actually knowing this, then watch the movie again. One of the villains of BVS is Batman.
I agree.
You ever considered that?
I've considered that Superman was a villain.
You shut your damn mouth.
He's serious, I think.
This is me and my wife fighting the whole time during that movie too. She's a big Batman person, so.
And I actually loved seeing it like that. Because let's go back to our before topic regarding live action films. I talked about Keaton. If you got 10 movies of Michael Keaton as Batman or Bruce Wayne, how different is he going to be from film to film? Not very.
Yeah.
Not very.
You're going to get the same thing.
Yeah.
If you get Bale for 10 movies, it's the same thing. Kilmer, Clooney, won't talk about Clooney.
Who?
Non-existent.
Exactly. But if you
It's
got
like Mario Brothers didn't happen.
if you got 10 films of Keaton, you're going to get Keaton the exact same way 10 times. And how fun is that? How entertaining is that to see Batman over and over not change, not go through any sort of arcs, not go through any highs or lows in his life?
Yep.
But that's comic book Batman. That's animated series Batman.
Live action, remember, Batman's human.
And it's okay, though. It's okay if you want that. But if Zack Snyder, anybody else, wants to take Batman through a fork in the road, where for the first time he has no idea what he's up against, he has no idea how to deal with an alien presence where he is completely outmatched. Superman can kill Batman with like a kick of his big toe. Everybody knows that.
He could have done it right at the beginning of that fight, but he chose not to. He tried to reason with him.
He could have.
Yeah.
So if you're Batman, not only did you just witness this guy decimate half of Metropolis, or all of downtown basically.
It was Gotham.
Never mind what he did to Smallville.
No, it was Metropolis.
No, it was Gotham.
Metropolis.
It was
Rob.
Gotham.
It was Metropolis.
No, it was Gotham.
We're
When?
sorry, folks.
What was Bruce doing in Metropolis?
Checking on his building there. Because he saw what fight was going on. That's why he went there.
building in Metropolis.
Yes. Win Enterprises. It's all over the damn country.
He flew into Metropolis
Hold on.
on
the
the
fight is in
helicopter.
Metropolis.
Chill.
Did you not see Man of Steel?
God, rewind.
We're about to throw down Batman vs Superman.
We're gonna have the static as we're winding. As you were.
Okay. I'll just cut that part out, Rob. It's all good. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to get to my finished point here, but
Okay.
Zack Snyder took Batman down a fork in the road, down a story arc that had him being powerless, overwhelmed. There's absolutely nothing he can do when two Kryptonians are going at it and they're destroying half a city. Even if he had the Batmobile, the Batplane, his utility belt, his cape and cowl,
His nuclear bomb.
what would he have done at that point?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
He would have thrown kryptonite at him and they would have died.
He didn't know what kryptonite
hold
was
on,
at that
kryptonite
time.
didn't exist at that point.
Well, it existed. They just haven't found it yet.
Dude,
They didn't find it.
You know
Yeah.
what? Superman's weak.
Okay, so hold on.
Not to throw
So
your ass out the window.
Back to what I was saying. So
That's right. I
Zack
said it.
Snyder had Bruce go down the best story arc or the biggest variance in story arc that I could have imagined. He was a villain. He was going through rage. He was going through this very different point in his life where he was powerless against these Kryptonians and could do nothing. And he watched an entire building filled with his employees crumble to the ground. And so BVS is the after effect. It's Bruce being cruel. It's Bruce being overly aggressive with criminals. It's Bruce finding out a way to kill the Man of Steel. That's what he did for 2 years. Watch it again and think to yourself, is Batman a good guy in this film or is he a bad guy?
Good guy.
And if you
See,
you
that's-
consider the fact that he's a bad guy in this film, you're gonna look at it a lot differently. And I loved seeing Batman in a different light.
That's another great thing about this film. You have people on the side of Superman. You have people on the side of Batman. You had those two fan bases coming together for this, which was
Yeah.
awesome. You know.
So back to the point is why is Batman killing in this film? Because this isn't Batman in the right frame of mind.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't Batman at his best. This is Batman at his worst. It doesn't get any lower than this. This is Batman on his last leg, his last resort. This is his last resort to sort of act in this way. When he's chasing the Luthor caravan because he thinks kryptonite
Is in there.
is in there, that's his mission.
Yeah.
So anybody in a vehicle that stood in his way, he used it as a wrecking ball and shot him up and everything else. His mission was to get the kryptonite. No one else mattered. Nothing else mattered. The objective was the only thing he needed to get done. So of course, he took out a bunch of guys.
Yep.
So if you think that Batman's never killed, you're only thinking about the animated series, which he probably killed a few people there too, and we just didn't know because it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
But every single movie, somebody's died at the hands of his actions. In the comics, I can give you 100 examples of how people have died in the comics. So probably in the Adam West 66 series, there's probably somebody that died.
We would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, the craziest thing is he's the only character because people think he's the only one that has this sort of conscience.
No, he's human.
Look at Cap. Go into a Marvel movie, look at Captain America. His shield is made out of vibranium, the strongest metal in the world. Look how many people he's hit in the face or in the head with that shield. You're not telling me that those guys aren't dead
No.
or
Yeah.
severely brain damaged when they get hit with that thing?
They're at least a vegetable.
There's
Yes.
concussion protocol, people.
Yes. What Winter Soldier, he kicked the dude in the chest, and the dude in the very opening scene, the dude goes off the side of a boat. I'm like, that guy got all the wind knocked out of him, and then he fell into the water. He's dead for sure.
Or sharks are getting him.
He's knocked out, and he fell into the water, dead for sure. Cap killed that guy. Anyways, it's just crazy. It's 3 years later, we're still talking about this.
It's another situation where they should have just let Zack Snyder keep making his films. It's all one big puzzle. It's got to come together. And we've talked about it before. If they had done a Man of Steel and then a Batman film
Yeah,
that ran
I did bring
parallel
that
to
up,
Man
yeah.
of Steel, then Batman vs Superman you would have had no problem with Batman killing because you would have seen why he became that.
And I had that same conversation with some people on social media. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you would have had Man of Steel, had a solo Batman film next, where you have Batman in the right frame of mind, acting as if everybody expects him to,
I think people would have taken to BVS a little differently.
and then
Yes.
seen the switch.
Yeah.
Now,
in
Zack
his-
Snyder, I have
his
a challenge
actions.
for you since they don't want you doing any more DC live action films. I would love for you to do your whole saga as an animated series.
Something.
Or-
How would your films be done animated wise?
Or film a movie under his name, so it's not tainted with yours.
What do you mean?
Like he can say directed by JC instead of Zach.
I'll take the credit if it's making me money.
Hey. I'll take 5% of that.
No, I'll take 10. That was my idea.
Zach, I loved your vision. I loved all the stories we hear about it. I was patient enough to say, okay, this isn't going to be MCU. I never expected it to be. I would have loved to see the rest of your puzzle. So if you want to do it, I would love to see you do it. Do an animated version. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. So
Yeah.
use my imagination,
And
or even make a comic.
no, same for me. I gave him a lot of flack for Man of Steel because I wanted to see Superman sort of more an adventure, uplifting film, and instead
He
it
was
was
setting that up.
It was a very dour. Well, it was a very dour, very sort of solemn, like dark film. And so I want to see
It set the
Superman.
tone for the DC films, though. DC's very dark. most of the time.
Definitely, but Wonder Woman was dark and
Yeah.
it was dramatic.
Yeah.
But it gave her this great. It was a great heroic adventure tale, and that's what Wonder Woman, Superman, and Aquaman did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They did those two right. Man of Steel, it just missed that adventure sort of uplifting heroic tale. Instead, it
It set the tone for
It
the rest of
did.
the DCEU.
I have
That's what
nothing.
it did.
If you want to hear that, do we have a review on that? I don't know if we
It
did
was
or
before
not.
I got on this. So
Go check that out if we had the review. But so that's my thoughts on Zack Snyder killing in BVS. If you have an issue with it, give us your thoughts. I think the biggest thing out there is either Batman's never killed or Batman shouldn't kill, which he's done both. Even
Yes.
in the movie The Dark Knight, where Batman says, I only have one rule. You know what that rule is? I'm not going to kill. He killed Harvey Dent at the end of that same film.
Yeah.
That was indirectly.
I hate it when people say that. He pushed him off a ledge.
the only
No,
sensible
he
way to live in
didn't.
this world is without rules.
Somebody told
Alright,
me
so
online.
He didn't push him. He tackled him to save the kid. Now,
Kill or be killed.
Between
That goes back to my
between
argument.
that point and the floor is up in the air because you don't see it.
How are we still fans like debating on what kills him, Batman
That's the
or
beauty
the
of
ground?
comics.
The ground. Jesus.
Literally-
It's not like he fell on Batman and he died.
Literally, somebody told me that online on social media. They were like, "Batman didn't kill him; the ground did."
Oh my god.
Whoever that was, thank you.
Oh my god! And I'm like, "We're not having this conversation, are we?"
Oh, you gotta love it. To love comic fans. This is
Oh,
why we get together
man.
and talk about this stuff. It's a beautiful thing.
Listen, go watch half the animated films we just talked about. You're gonna see deaths in that scene at the hands of the Dark Knight. Go read, just pick up one story arc, one graphic novel.
Yep.
Pick up the Dark Knight Returns.
Watch Doom Patrol. You're on dark. That's dark.
I mean, I don't want to tell you that Batman shouldn't kill. I agree that Batman shouldn't because he has this sort of moral
compass.
honor code, which means he's not just going out there and decimating every criminal he comes across. I agree with you.
Kills out of necessity, though.
But the story arc of BVS took him down a very different dark path. And as long as you can understand that, maybe you don't agree with it, but as long as you can understand, Bruce wasn't killing because Bruce has always killed. Bruce was only being more aggressive, more cruel because he was powerless. This was a new thing for him, and he didn't know how to deal with it. He watched his Wayne Company building in Metropolis, sister building or whatever, other location, crumbled to the ground.
Sherry has buildings all over the world. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, crumbled to the ground, and the downtown Metropolis area was decimated to rubble. And he had nothing. There's nothing he could do to stop it. So that was his story arc, and like I said, I really like it. I really like seeing Batman as the bad guy. Do we ever see another Marvel character or another just any film character as a bad guy? Like,
Yeah, well, depending on whose side you were, either Iron Man or Cap was a bad
Civil
guy.
War.
there
Civil
you go.
War.
Exactly.
Where's the people like getting mad at Iron Man? Iron Man wouldn't fight Cap. He still did, but you
He
don't
would have
hear
understood that his
anything.
friend was brainwashed. No, he saw how his dad died. Of course he's gonna fight him.
Why is it that we can't see Iron Man in the same light that we see Bruce? Why can't we?
They're essentially
Because
the
one's
same
more
character,
of a dick.
right?
Pretty much.
Well,
Playboy rich guys.
Stark was a little more outgoing
And
about it, I guess.
before you say, well, it's because Bucky killed his parents. Well, Superman went through the Wayne building and it crumbled.
How many people did he kill in that process, right?
Was it him
Probably
or
1,000.
Zod though?
Here we go.
Because Zod's
wait,
the
no.
ones whose heat vision went crazy and then just took down the whole building.
Yeah. But we're talking about when Superman had Zod like this and they were flying through buildings.
Yeah.
Well, Zod, because his body hit the building first.
But Superman was directing. You don't push a shopping cart into like a vehicle and be like, "Oh, the shopping cart did it."
Never mind all the people that died in Smallville. too, in that
Shopping
film.
cart.
Yeah.
Was
I didn't
not
dent your
me.
truck. The
Dude,
shopping cart did.
That is such a great argument.
So listen, I understand. We're not gonna change your mind if you already don't agree with it. It's your opinion to not like BVS for any reason you want.
Just have a sensible conversation about it online, please.
But just also acknowledge that the story arc of Bruce involves him being more aggressive through the events of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
That affected him in a very deep, dark way.
Yes.
You may not agree with everything that's done on the X-Men films, but they're
Yeah.
still good films. Somebody out there liked them.
Somebody.
And we're gonna get a new Batman film regardless next year.
Are we going to get a Flash film made too?
We're not gonna talk about Flash because now reports that had Ezra Miller on the fence of staying, reports are now saying that Ezra Miller's gone. But initial reports, nothing's
Who
been
knows?
confirmed.
Rumors, people.
Look at all these rumors. Anyways, we're getting a Batman on Gotham. Gotham, the series finale is coming later this month, I believe. So I hope you're still watching that because it's getting really good. And we will see the cape and cowl on one David. Forget his last name every time. Luzaz? I don't know.
They're
David.
They're wrapping that show up
That
pretty,
guy.
pretty good.
They're wrapping it up. It's
Yeah.
great. I like it. I enjoy it. Titans, we've seen Dark Knight again, season 2.
You want to talk about an interpretation of The Dark Knight? Watch the finale of Titans season 1.
Yeah. So go check
Damn.
that out. And Young
That's
Justice.
crazy.
Young
Yes.
Justice is probably one of my favorite animated versions of The Dark Knight just because he's so damn, but again, he's so damn bland.
Yeah.
But he just makes all the right decisions.
He
You
does.
know, he's always one step ahead of everybody, and that's what I love most about the Young Justice animated version of Batman. All right. So that'll do it. Happy birthday, Batman. It's been 80 years.
Sitting here debating about whether you'd kill people or not. But yeah.
That's the way to celebrate your birthday.
Yeah.
80 years. It's been tremendous. And there's so much more content coming, and we can't wait for all of it. So let us know your favorite animated film. Let us know your favorite live action version of The Dark Knight, The Caped Crusader. And just let us know if you want Rob to go and make that episode 1 of his podcast,
Oh, yeah.
writing out the timeline between the
Christopher
Nolan universe. So yeah,
We'll see.
give us a thumbs up or thumbs down on that.
We'll
Do
see.
that.
I might have to borrow your equipment.
I need it for the WrestleCast.
With me on this happy birthday Batman 80th anniversary episode are my fellow Geekcasters, the man, the myth, the legend, JC.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned. Our preview of WrestleMania is coming up on the WrestleCast this week.
Oh yeah.
Check it out on YouTube. It's going to be a fun weekend.
And the guy that still wants those green tights so he could be Robin, it's Rob.
Thanks for watching, guys. Little take-home note.
Uh-oh.
Batman is better than Superman.
You can,
You better watch it.
Yeah.
You
we're
better
gonna
watch
go
it.
fight right now.
You better watch
We're
it.
gonna go fight right
I should not be in the middle of this right now.
Get out of my way.
We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, AJ Nyland here. For more Geekcast episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes or your smart device podcast app. And please, write us a review. Be sure to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Countdown City Geekcast. Follow us on Twitter at ccg_podcast or visit our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. See you later, guys.